Hello there. I can hear you. I have the master. Do you want the master?
Nope.
We're good. All right, I'll be the
Nope.
master. Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
And now I am the master.
You are the
No, I'm
master.
not.
Sorry, we were getting a heads up foods here. That's very important. Very, very
It is very
important.
important to take care of yourself when you're commentating as well as playing Lorcana.
Absolutely. No lunch breaks. I know people have been asking for lunch breaks. We're doing our best, but guys, we're trying to get through here. It's tough sometimes. I know these long events. People just try to scramble and get food. But the good thing is, in this shopping center, we got a Domino's right next door, so you'll grab yourself a slice of pizza if you need to, and just power through. Right?
Yeah, I need to do that. I never eat or hydrate properly at these. It's terrible. But I need to do that. I will say though, maybe this round will go fast.
Yeah.
And I
think
say
so.
that because we're about to see something fun.
Absolutely. So we do have what looks to be a hyper aggro versus blue steel here. And usually hyper aggro, probably not too excited to run into blue steel. Usually that would think that'd be a bad matchup. However, we are undefeated. So clearly we've been doing something right.
I know. I mean, you don't bring it into this unless you're expecting to run into a handful of Sapphire Steel decks and Ruby Sapphire. But Alex, so far undefeated. And as we get off to the races here, Lilo on one side, Popsicle on the other, exactly what you expect these decks to do. I will highlight Alex, very experienced player. If my stats are right, has played in every North American challenge. I'm looking at, and finally got 15th place in Seattle at the very last one, getting in the top cut and qualifying for Continentals. So, and he qualified with Amber Steel, and I'm not sure which version, but it's very possible it was that hyper aggro version. And so aggression seems to be something that Alex leans towards.
Absolutely. And for those of you who don't understand how hard Liam works, he has a spreadsheet for every player that's played in the DLC, and he has all of their results and their decks and everything about them. So shout out for Liam being incredibly well prepared and professional and coming today to bring us all this knowledge that Gabe and I would never know. So thank you, Liam, for being incredible and having all these resources.
I will say shout out to Caroline, aka Lorcana Bell, and Brandon B Scared 24 for doing the legwork on this and me benefiting
that's
from
where
there.
It's coming from. Okay, so you're just reaping the rewards here.
But I am. But we're a team. But no, they did a lot of the hard work here.
Awesome.
And
well, it's good to see you guys put that together. Very useful. As you see a Lilo and a Piglet coming down, so I'm sure Nicholas right now saying, "Uh-oh." If he didn't know what he was playing against before, he sure does now, and he's going to have to pick up the paces quick here as a Tipo and a Bell come down. Bell is really going to put a lot of work in here because she's able to check all these characters, which is a big reason why aggro has been kind of, I don't want to say falling off, but hasn't been as popular. But Simba, oh my goodness, we are flashing back. Simba on right. 2-drop Simba. Remember when that guy was everywhere?
Yep. Lilo turn 1, Simba turn 2. That was the play. And now,
my gosh,
here we are again. That Simba's going to bodyguard those higher lore characters there, forcing the Bell to run into him instead. I feel like I'm back in set 1 even with Maleficent there on the board as well.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lore coming. Even if he deals with Simba, he would have to kill this. Banish the Simba, and then Tipo can pick off the Lilo, which would still leave us with 5 lore next turn if he plays a character, which can't imagine he wouldn't. So it's going to be a quick race here, and hopefully Nicholas can find some songs here to try to maybe Storm Rage on or something. But the problem is if he uses this Bell to sing songs, that Simba is just going to hang out. So he does take out. He just go ahead and hard cast. Okay, yeah. So cleaning
there
up.
we go. Clean that up.
Yeah,
that's the turn. Yeah, and you're right. Drawing into that removal there is key.
Yeah.
Even leaving that Piglet up for one more turn, we can drop another character, get another 3 lore off of it is huge.
Yep.
That was a key play there.
That was an ideal turn for sure. Yeah, that's the best possible turn you can hope for there is to take care of 3 of those characters. But Simba's back, and we're gonna just keep playing these 1 ink threats that quest for 2. Looks like Alex just drew them all. Apparently he just had all of them in his opening hand. And he still have cards left in his hand to play. So really cool to see this deck kind of making a return. I'm sure Alex getting a lot of breaks in between his rounds where he can just go stretch and drink some water, use the bathroom. So
think about life choices.
Yeah, when you're picking your decks for these events, guys, you got to take some things into consideration, right? Do you want to have a bathroom break or nah?
Right.
So we see Hiram Flaversham come down as he starts the machine here and starts to draw cards. And Alex just waiting to have his turn back so he can just turn cards sideways again. So let's see if Nick's able to put some pieces together here and continue to clean up the board as well as he did last time.
Yeah, right on schedule. There comes the Flavisham.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, fortunately for Nicholas, he has a lot of the pieces he needs. That Bell,
Mm-hmm.
able to take 2 characters out on its own, and then
Yep.
the Tipo cleaning up that Maleficent, left with the lowly Lilo on the board. Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah.
And we'll see if he can dump a few more things out there to provide those threats. But the Sapphire Steel deck doing everything it wants here. I will note, not off to its ideal start in this matchup. I mean, a first turn Bell into Hyper Aggro is key. It
Yep.
didn't hit that, so waited a little bit, but still able to prevent that pressure.
Yeah, Blue Steel just able to kind of stabilize a bit here, and now Alex has to make some decisions because you can see in his face he wasn't hoping, he wasn't anticipating all his board being cleaned up so quickly. As he adds a goat, which will gain him a lore, and Lilo would add 2 more, so up to 12, potentially 13 if this goat is banished for whatever reason or bounced. So pretty close up there. We have 7 more lore to 8 more lore potentially to go as Nick gets passed back, and it's going to be interesting to see if he's able to put some pieces together here. Do we have another item for Hiram? I'm curious to see. We're going to spend 2. What are we thinking here? Are we doing okay, another Tipo? We're going to ink again. And okay,
Zeus
so
coming down,
the lightning
smiting
bolt.
the goat.
Yep, goat smitten, and we will also take out we'll take out the Lilo as well. So I mean, Nick doing an incredible job here of cleaning the board every turn. Unfortunately, the the lore's still ticking.
It's true.
Yeah, Alex going to continue to slam threats, and this Diablo able to replace itself even after it quests is going to be very crucial for Nick to find more cards to close the game out.
Absolutely. I will say, Alex, there comes a point in these hyper aggro decks where your opponent gains control of the board sometimes and it feels like you run out of gas. But the thing about hyper aggro now is there's a lot of cards as the Diablo is taking care of replacing itself, as you pointed out before. There are a lot of cards that give you reach that you could run. Not only the goats, but you have White Roses, which can come down.
Yep.
And we don't know what build he has here if he's running some of the other stuff, but Donald Duck Bodyguard gives a lore to a character in play. You also have Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom. And so when you get up to 13, 14, 15 lore, it does become very dangerous, and your opponent has to think about closing things out quickly. Fortunately, for Nicholas, Sapphire Steel doesn't have that Pirate Slave, which can knock your opponent back down if they're racing. So at some point, Nicholas has to think about not just controlling the board, but closing this out because, Alex will be a few cards away from winning. But
yeah, but look at this right here. If we draw another character here, we can protect Piglet yet again, and Piglet should be questing for 3 if we draw a character off the top here. So
that is huge.
Yeah, I mean, even though he's been having his board cleaned every turn, I mean, imagine if Nick didn't have all the perfect answers. I mean, this game would already be over. So Nick, I mean, absolutely, having a great strategy to keep Alex at bay here, but looks like he's starting to slow down a bit and try to figure out what's the best way he can handle this. Okay, so another Zeus. That's a big one. That's
huge. That's huge. Drawing into that removal.
Yeah, that Piglet was going to be very, very crucial. So we see another card being drawn. Ew, he makes a little
face,
a little ugly face about it. I guess he's not too happy with it.
Oh, yep, no, not the ideal draw here.
I would not be happy with it either.
Great early on to rack up some lore, but unfortunately, Nicholas already has the answer for that sitting right on the board.
Yeah. That's the problem with some of these, these weenie decks, if you will, these like small threat decks, is that they're great at the start, but then when you're top decking and you just draw 1 ink location, it's like, ugh, So unfortunately, not going to be enough here, considering that there's so many ways for Nick to deal with it. So
yeah,
Nick just setting up, continuing to do his thing, has pretty much had the perfect answers to everything that Alex has presented so far. So unfortunate. Fortunate for Alex, but definitely great by Nick to, be able to on the fly, not knowing what he was playing against, just be able to, handle the board and stop things from getting too out of hand.
Yep. I mean, it was already a long shot. It was slowing down, had ways back in, but I'm going to go on a limb and say Neverland was probably the worst card he could have drawn in that position.
I would have to say so.
Yeah, I can't think of another.
I would have to say, and his face said it too. I think he knows that as well. As he gets over to 14. 14 is just a little far. I mean, it's up there, but we definitely want to be in the 16 to 18 range to just kind of, okay, we have a new addition here.
Yeah, not a terrible card to pull.
Sure. So Tiana, so whenever this character is challenged, while she is exerted, is it her? Excuse me. So whenever a character, not her, sorry, a character is challenged while she's exerted, the challenging character gets -3. So it's almost like reverse challenger, unless they pay 3 ink. So Tiana is quite problematic. If your opponent doesn't have a million ink, which unfortunately it looks like Nick does have quite a lot of ink.
There's so much ink. It is a well of ink over there.
But she's still 2 lore. And,
that's the key here.
Yeah, she's still 2 lore. And had we had a wide board of threats, maybe she'd be much better option right now. But when she's by herself, oof. Yeah,
and strength of rage. I was gonna say the 4 in the stat line is nice. It's strength of or let the storm rage on, won't remove her. But you know what will?
When you have it all, I mean, yeah, Nick's just cranking through the deck here, and I'm sure Alex can already see the writing on the wall here as the door is slowly closing in, and we have a big 8-drop Tamatoa sitting in play, Scrooge, T-Pose. We've got a little bit of everything, and yeah, we know these decks don't really play removal, so it's going to be pretty much that board is not going to go away, and I think it just might be a little bit too much here. But let's see if Alex is able to, hit a string of gatherings off the top, or I'm not even sure what would save him here. But it's definitely going to be tight for him.
I mean, I'm willing to bet there is a perfect line that exists to put a little bit of pressure on. The question is, can Nicholas make this a 1-turn game this turn? I'm willing to bet Alex has a thin way back in if he's able to quest for the broom, draw a card off of it, or play a character, draw a card off of it, play another character, and then perhaps draw into a knowledge and wisdom or something the following turn.
Sure.
But the key for Nicholas here is, can he get enough lore to put Alex in response mode this turn? And I think he will, especially with that Tamatoa there.
Yeah,
and that'll pretty much close things down.
It's going to be rough. Yeah, 11 is just a little too crazy, and we haven't even quested with the whole mob yet. So, oh my god, just another song.
And that removal will shut the door.
Yeah, when you're chaining songs like that, especially when you playing against Steel Song or any song deck, when your opponent's just able to answer the aerial as well. So, yeah, when they're able to just answer every turn with a song, just feels like they're playing the game and you're not. I mean, it's just really unfortunate. So we'll send it back over to Alex, who will probably offer the hand here if I had to guess, but he still wants to see as much of the deck as he can. It's another important thing you got to think about. Even though the game is clearly pretty over, you just play it out, let your opponent maybe there's some cards you didn't get to see that will help you in your following matchup. Any kind of knowledge you can get would be wonderful. So he will play a Blue, which Blue
is a fantastic card for various scenarios in this game.
Amazing card, but not right now.
Not right now. Yep.
So that was over quick, but not in the way I thought. It looks like the blue steel deck was the one who did some quick work there. As we see, he's playing the items list here, and just for those who have not seen, somehow the items decks, obviously using cards like Tamatoa, the 6-drop and the 8-drop to just generate an incredible amount of items as resources, and then using those items to play cards for free, such as Scrooge and Bell, and then eventually, recur them with Tamatoa and then use Hiram. So just using the items as a synergy to kind of oil the machine that is this deck, and then eventually closing it out with a big Tamatoa Lucky Dime if needed. We didn't see the Lucky Dime this time around. Wasn't something that came up, but definitely
didn't need it.
Yeah, we didn't need it. In the slower matchups, it's great, right? Because you just get to shut them down in one turn here. But when you're playing against hyper aggro, they're not going to be dealing with your threats, right? They're only going to be presenting their own. And if you're able to clear those up, it's very likely your threats will just sit there. So not a lot of reason to need to find the dime, but it is absolutely an incredible card for the matchups where you are able to amass an incredible amount of items and then boom, shut it down,
or get it into play for free.
That's
with an Oswald. It's a great deck. Zansiad refers to this as a combo deck, because that's really what you're doing is looking to string together several pieces, and I like to think of it as an engine builder as well, where as you indicated at the end of the game, you've got all these key pieces working together, this machine running, and it feels so bad to play against too. I'm not gonna lie.
You said it, not me.
Yeah. One thing I'll highlight here too is the power of Tipo. Back in the day, we saw a lot of these Sapphire decks ramp primarily with one jump ahead, and then there's also Sail the Azurite Sea, which you can play in turn 2. But the value of getting that body down on the board, it sometimes squeaks out a lore too. But it's just one of the things that does make aggressive decks, hyper aggro,
Yep.
just struggle oftentimes
Absolutely.
in the Lorcana meta.
Well, we saw it check Lilo there. We saw it check Maleficent there. You know,
It
it just
removed 4
seems,
lore.
yeah, it seems like it's just kind of hanging out, but it's not. It's absolutely a threat, and like you said, it is able to chip away at the lore. I've given my opponent 4 or 5 lore off Tipo sometimes because I'm just ignoring him, and Tipo is just slowly, you know, cracking in little by little. So. Like you said, just getting a body out of that effect is incredibly valuable, I think. And yeah, I agree with you 100% in that sentiment.
Yeah. So one of the key cards I think in this matchup is hitting that on turn 2, and then of course the Bell on turn 1. If we can do that, establish that board presence.
Sure.
Bell will run over Simbas, as we saw, sometimes 2 of them, as we saw in the last matchup. So certainly a game that's winnable here. Alex wouldn't be undefeated, and a player of his experience wouldn't be playing this deck if he thought he couldn't win this matchup.
Of
but
course. Well, I mean, in all fairness, Nick did have not only one answer. I mean, he had essentially answer after answer after answer, but Alex approaching things a little different this time with Daisy Duck, who we didn't get to see at all last game, and a huge difference in power level when it comes to Daisy. I mean, 1/4 is able to survive a single attack from Bell as he passes. Unfortunately, gives his opponent a Bell.
The Bell.
Yeah. But Daisy, absolutely a powerhouse in these builds. If you've ever played against a Daisy, I'm sure you know how that feels. And it's going to be interesting to see if Daisy's able to give cards to Nicholas, or if he'll start bottom decking some items. You know, that would be really useful as well. So he's gonna let's see.
Going wide here.
Yep.
I love this strategy here, and you saw we inked a Piglet.
Yep.
As opposed to playing the Piglet here on turn 2, getting that extra lore. This is definitely the right way to go, because now we know we have the Bell in hand as well. So Bell could be played and immediately sing and take out that Piglet with let the Storm Rage on. So choosing to go wide here, and yeah, Daisy Duck, the perfect turn 1 play here into this deck. Bell will take a couple swings to remove it.
There it goes, Popsicle to the bottom. That's what we want to see here.
It feels good when your opponent misses off a Daisy. So
absolutely,
I mean, this is the start that Alex wants.
This is it, and I love that he chose to go. You know, we usually say quality over quantity, but in this sense, it's quantity over quality, right? So Piglet, obviously an ideal turn 2 drop, but just being able to diversify your threats and spread them out really makes it harder for the blue steel player to just pinpoint a target every turn. You know, we have multiple targets now. Like, you got to get rid of this Daisy, you got to get rid of this Lilo, you got to do all the things. And you know, last game Nick did do all the things, but can you do it again? You know, it's going to be really interesting to see. Baloo,
yes,
this is a very ideal start. Baloo. Funny, there's somebody at my locals who is playing still Baloo and Hades, the Hades that brings cards back from the discard pile, old school Hades.
Way back then.
Yeah, and he will recur this Baloo and keep slamming Baloo, and Baloo can be quite frustrating to play against. He's going to give 2 lore every time he gets banished, and that's no joke, let me tell you, because 2 lore is a big deal here. So and Tipo cannot attack him, or he can attack him, but it's just going to be a little hug because it's not really going to do much about it. So this is definitely the opener that Alex is looking for, and he's on the play. So yeah, this one might be over before it even started, but we'll see.
Phenomenal opening. I mean, Blue, that we saw him last game, like kind of late game, plunked down on the board. This is the scenario on him in here. Yeah, he represents 9 lore, and the resources is going to be required to deal with him. I mean, Nicholas is going to have the perfect card. I mean, slam a Zeus into it, and then challenge him perhaps with a Tipo. That's probably your best case scenario for removing it. Yeah. But the alternative is, you know, developing the board. Here he is, I think, trying to draw into some removal options. But the alternative is develop the board, get that Bell down, get some other characters down, Pete referee perhaps. But he's going to have to take a whole nother turn now, letting Alex quest for another 6.
That Popsicle going to the bottom from Daisy was incredibly huge, because we know he's got Bell, we know he's got these ways to, you know, to interact with the items, but sending that Popsicle to the bottom and not having another item to back it up is really working here against there's Zeus going to the bottom.
And Zeus so impactful here. But here we go, even wider. There's Malil Maleficent from set 1 doing work. Oh my goodness.
This is a throwback right here. We've seen a couple throwbacks. Last round we had Red Purple that was playing Maleficent Dragons and Maleficent 3 drops, and now we have, you know, Simbas and Baloos. So
what's old is new again.
Yeah, hey, sometimes you got to go back to the originals to beat some of these newer strategies. So yeah, clearly it's been working out for Alex today, and Alex with an incredibly powerful board here, and yeah, Nick is gonna definitely have his work cut out for him here as he tries to figure out if there's a way out. And I'm not sure that there is. Yeah.
I am.
A lot
I
of
don't
these
know.
cards quest for 2.
I mean, it was doing the math here. We haven't inked for turn, although okay, we haven't. So you could play 2 removal cards to take out some of those smaller characters.
Yeah.
Run Pete into blue. Run Tipo into
3 for
we
a
get the
bell.
bell. Hard play bell.
That is never a good feeling.
It is not.
So let's see, 3 for a.
There's no question that her name means beauty, but it's a lot more beautiful to play her on turn 1.
Oh, okay.
Strength will give that Maleficent. We'll run into blue.
We'll
give
gain
2 lore.
And
take out that Lilo.
That's still 5, sir.
Yeah, so almost the perfect. I mean, if we had another storm or something, that would have been even better. But still, that will be that, as they say.
I don't think he realizes that it's already very over. Yeah, we're definitely done here.
Yep.
And just like that, we'll pack it up and go to game 3. And unfortunately for Alex, he will not be on the play for the last game. I'm sure he was wishing he was going first in game 3 because that's a great feeling. But
the die roll, so crucial.
So
when you're playing
important.
these aggro decks.
But it's okay. It's not to say it's a down and out yet. He could still have a great opening here. And obviously, hyper aggro decks here. We're looking to burn and pressure and race to 20 lore as fast as possible. We haven't seen Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom quite yet, but we do know these decks play this card to just have reach, right? It's just a card that your opponent finally deals with your whole board, but you've quested high enough where you can just burn it out of the, just off the top of the deck or in your hand. So a very, very powerful card here, allowing us to just gain 2 lore, essentially giving us the benefit of a goat for just 2 ink, just a in and out and getting that ink right away, getting that lore right away rather. So, and then Daisy, obviously, how good was Daisy there? That's supposed to be a drawback on her, and we saw no drawback in that game. I mean, she was just bottom decking cards that were incredibly crucial in the matchup. And yeah, I think we can all agree Daisy is, if not the most powerful 1-drop in the game, definitely among them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a not a literal die roll; it's a metaphorical die roll. You play her, and there's a scenario where you said we pointed out that it did send critical cards to the bottom of the deck, but it may have sent non-critical cards down and opened it up. So yeah, it's a gamble when you play her, but but when she's that 4, what really sets her apart, not only is it 2 lore on turn 1, but that 4 in the willpower line, like that one difference between 3 and 4 is huge. It gets around Bell, and yeah, hitting that on turn 1 or hitting 2 or 3 in the first few turns is brutal.
Yeah, 1/4 stat line is. I remember we were playing with 2/2s on turn 1 that quest for 1. Now we got 1/4 that quest for 2. So the power level of Daisy is very, very huge. And Daisy goes up in value when you're playing against more and more decks that are cutting characters in place of songs and items. We've been seeing all these item and song decks, and that's just more targets for Daisy to hit there. And Liam, I see you taking a close look. What are we peeking at? Looking at some hands here.
Trying to see. Yeah, I mean, Daisy, of course, obviously better on the play than the draw, but we do have the Daisy duck in the initial draw here.
Still think it's solid. I mean, obviously it's way better on the play, but I think it's still 4 power that needs to be addressed.
Absolutely.
So we see him keeping that. Couldn't see quite what the other cards were.
I think we kept in Neverland as well.
Okay, I can see that,
which
being
is interesting.
Useful.
That's the only other card of. I was trying to glance. I saw what I saw, and that's about it.
You would think with these, I know you guys can't see these monitors we're sitting, you would think you could see everything very clearly, but still sometimes a little hard to pinpoint exactly what they have there. But it does look like, and I mean, Neverland would be a great start here as well. Tipo takes 4 swings to get into a Neverland. It's really going to come down to whether or not Nick is able to open with Popsicle Bell here.
Well, there's the Popsicle, and there's the Bell.
And that's very rough.
There it is. Yeah, it's rough. It is rough.
So that's tough. If your opponent's not able to start with that, I mean, it really increases your odds significantly, but that's definitely going to be a problematic start for Alex here as he tries to navigate around this 3/3 that can just sing songs on the majority of your 1-drops. So definitely going to be interesting. I see Knowledge and Wisdom. I see a Simba.
So it is interesting. We did keep, because I thought I saw, but I was doubting myself. We did keep the Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom on the altar, I believe.
Okay.
So interesting choice there to keep that reach in the early game, that uninkable. But
that is interesting. Yeah, maybe he's found that on the draw, it's been more valuable to him. Maybe in his testing, he feels like that card is crucial to hang on to. But yeah, I'm not sure. That's interesting. Interesting note there from you. Absolutely.
Well, there are. Yeah.
So
let's see. Bell, they're questioning for 1, and we'll go back over.
Yep. And So far, I mean, besides the bell, pretty standard. I mean, I would say bell's pretty standard as well, but no songs or anything singing. Just going ahead and questing with Bell. And unfortunately, if he's able to build up enough characters here, we'll start talking about strength of a raging fire, which we'll be able to deal with this Daisy. So I think we want to get some Daisy triggers in here as soon as possible. But the problem is, Tipo Bell checks it.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Giving a crab there to Nicholas.
Yeah, and. Yep. Perfect. Oh, we have okay.
Oh, okay.
Befuddle.
Okay.
I like it. I like it.
So you sent the befuddle back down. So what that does, that protects the Daisy for another turn.
Yep.
It does give your opponent another ramp off the Tipo, but if you're forcing your opponent to play the Tipo on turn 4, yes, you're ramping a little bit. You get closer to that Tamatoa, but
they can't do other stuff.
You can't do other things.
Right.
It is slowing down the tempo a bit for Nicholas, and it could give Alex some breathing space to dump 3 more 1-drops on the board or something like that. So
absolutely.
Interesting tempo play there.
Yeah, I thought that was very well done. We haven't seen Befuddle in quite some time, and it's clearly doing its thing there. And we see Scrooge come down, paying full price for a Scrooge, which at the first, when I first saw Scrooge, I was like, yeah, do you want to pay full price for this? But then some players explained to me it's like a Grand Motala, right? We pay 4 for a Grand Motala to look at the top 2, and it's a 3/3. Here we're paying 4 for a 4/4, and we're looking for cards. So Scrooge definitely is still a powerful card, even when it's not played for free. Just really good on curve. And did he find an item there? I saw him put a card to hand, so couldn't quite see what
it was a Fortisphere.
A Fortisphere.
Yeah, he did find a Fortisphere.
Yeah, so Fortisphere added to the hand, and yeah, that's going to be possible. Maybe Hiram Fortisphere next turn if he's got the Hiram. I can't quite tell. I see another Bell in hand, an Aerial, and he has another Aerial to the hand. Aerial tough. I see a lot more players including
Was that an item collector? I missed it. That was an Aerial he pulled?
Yeah, that was an Aerial. That was an Aerial, yep.
Yeah, fascinating card. That card I saw did work at Hunter Burton in a few of these builds, and that Ward makes her so menacing.
Yeah, Ward is still incredibly powerful. I mean, Ward is something that a lot of these steel decks just cannot answer, and cannot brawl for the red decks. It's tough. I wasn't too sure about the card at first when everybody was playing items, because I'm like, how do you know for sure you're going to have more items than your opponent? But she's still an incredible threat, and clearly, finding some success here for Nicholas today. So he has 2 in hand at the moment, which is a little clunky, but I think he should have something here that he can use to remove. Let's see. He's thinking about
but if
a Fishbone. Okay. It's going to ramp us up a little bit here. He's thinking about what he wants to do.
Some of those extra cards.
I do see the Hiram in hand as well. So he does have Hiram as an option for the following turns if he chooses.
And there's that Tipo back
super
from
ramping. Yeah.
Back from the hand.
Yeah.
Taking a moment to develop the board. Looks like we'll give, Alex a whole other round of questing with his characters. I take it back. We're going to get rid of those that Donald Duck and the Daisy. And that smarts a little bit.
That's tough.
Make sure we get the damage there.
Oh, we made sure, because he can't. What's going on? He just played him.
Yeah.
Didn't he just play? No. That was last turn. I thought he had just played it.
He played the last turn. This turn for the Fishbone Quill.
Yeah, that's true. But now the Quill available for Hiram next turn. I was a little weary about him throwing the Fortisphere in the yard here, because he might have used that for Hiram, but he did ramp quite enough where he might be comfortable just throwing away this Fishbone Quill next turn for Hiram. As we know, that's the card left in his hand here. So now he's going to not only get, he drew another one. So sometimes you just draw another one, right?
Right.
Well, why get rid of the Fishbone Quill when you could just draw more popsicles, essentially?
Just keep the items on the top of your deck so you can draw them.
That's a good strategy.
This turn.
So we're going to get to see 2 fresh cards, as well as a mountain of characters in play that you can see is starting to form up on Nicholas's side. And it's kind of reminiscing the first match, right? I mean, we're just seeing so many characters. And 9 lore, although it is a generous amount, it's not where you want to be right now. But
that hurts.
That was so rough. Yeah.
That hurts more.
Oh my goodness.
Just the blows keep coming. There's the removal, and then we're gonna get rid of that Exertum Maleficent there. No way she's sticking around. So that hurts. One thing I'll point out is that Alex is sitting with a White Rose and a Gathering Knowledge Wisdom in hand. So that represents 3 instant lore gain. And so if he's able to scoop up a little bit there, he gets closer to striking distance, but just
if he was able to quest that turn without the songs, it would have probably been very close. But just being able to clean the Zeus on the Lilo, as somebody mentions in chat, is
feels like overkill.
It is, but
right?
sometimes you got to do what you got to do, right? He took 2 lore off the board, and just really putting Alex in a tough predicament here. White Rose is nice to see, but I mean, look at what he's facing down. I mean, Nicholas just has a plethora of threats here, and we're just going to keep drawing songs. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is very reminiscent of the first game where Nicholas just has all the songs, all the items, all the characters, and most likely going to get all the lore as well, because he's ticking up and turning cards sideways very quickly as Alex is operating, I think, off the top of his deck here, which is oh no, he does have some cards in hand. Okay, put him off to the side.
I think we still have that gathering knowledge and wisdom, and
Baloo.
And a Baloo.
Thinking about Baloo. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, being Baloo does represent 2 lore, even if they don't attack into him. Something that I've learned the hard way is sometimes Baloo
run him into something.
He'll just come give you a hug himself.
Hug.
Yeah, he just come in and throw himself at you. So something to think about here. But even if it puts him up to 12, I just don't think it's enough. I think he's just a little too far away. At this point of the game, you definitely want to be at 15, 16, feeling like you're almost there. But 10 is just, it's tough. It's tough. So let's see if
it's not a bad place to be if your opponent doesn't have 6 characters on board.
True. Fair.
That's
fair. That's a true statement for sure. But now we have double Rat here, double Hiram. So I mean, just what else could go wrong? Let's see. Oh, we're gonna play. What did we play here? I missed it. Was it looking at the top? Did he play another Scrooge? Is that what happened? I missed it.
Yeah, I did not. I did not see. There goes the Baloo. That'll be 2 lore.
Yeah, I missed it. I saw him looking at the top cards, but it's in the discard pile. I'm not sure what it was.
I see.
Maybe a vision of the future. Couldn't tell. All right.
Here it is. We'll turn the corner. A couple of those arrows, if they're still available, shut the door really fast. But yeah, I mean, we saw what the deck can do, especially on the play in Alex's first game on the ideal draw. I mean, the aggro decks, especially this variety, it's strong. It is a little high rolly, but on Nicholas's side in this game, being on the draw, and then he executed his game plan to perfection with the turn 1 bell, then having the TPO, being able to get the Flavisham on the board in the mid game, and then had the removal options he needed. So 2 gathering knowledge and wisdom. And let's go back to that turn where he had the 2 songs to remove.
That was such a big turn. Such a big turn. I mean, if he's not able to deal with everything in that turn, we're talking 17, 18, maybe even 19 lore.
That would have been game here. I think because the Piglet and the Maleficent, you drop the White Rose, you quest for 4. The White Rose actually gives you 1 more. So having that removal just. But that's what Sapphire does, though. It Flavisham gobbles popsicles. You look
just
into the future and
lets you get to the cards you need to get to. And that's going to be definitely unfortunate for Alex here, as Nick ticks up to 13, 12. I saw him hit the button, but it didn't quite go through. I'm not sure if he's at 12 or 13 here.
Yeah, and even so, another turn here I don't think is going to.
Deck is fine.
So close.
Somebody in chat, deck is fine. Nothing wrong with this deck at all. All right. So as you can see, Alex's side is a beautiful Cusco playmat, and Nicholas's side is a lot of characters. As we clock it all the way up to 18, and unless Alex draws double gathering off 1 card.
There's just nothing that's going to do it. But
that is tough. That is tough.
Yeah. But man, taking that to 3 games, that was fun to watch. I'm glad that we got to see Alex do what he wanted to